Flo is David Miscavige's mother-in-law. I will have to do a little bit of brief context. Essentially, in the early to mid 80s, there was a massive crisis in leadership because Elron was getting very, very old. He had picked Miscavige as one of the up and coming prize students of his. However, his role was still shaky, and Flo left Scientology with some sensitive documents. So this was very threatening to Miscavige, and the circumstances of her death are very suspicious. But let's give a few more details.
2012, and how much have we heard about this since then? I only found one video the other night, which I'm going to show you a clip from on the internet on YouTube with Claire Headley and Hannah Whitfield talking briefly about this, but again, kind of dodging around the subject. Indeed, it does. Over the years, interest in the death of Flo Barnett has endured because of her connection to the Church of Scientology. Barnett's daughter, Michelle Shelley Barnett, Shelley Miscavige obviously used to be named Shelley Barnett, in 1981 married David Miscavige, who today is the supreme ruler of the worldwide religion. Flo was Miscavige's mother-in-law, and Shelley herself has not been seen in public with her husband since 2006. Now, remember, this is 2012, so this is a little more updated information about that saga. But that's a story we'll be going into another day.
She died of several gunshots, three to her chest, and one more fatal shot. And this is a small woman, very, very sick, had some mental issues, and yet, despite her weaknesses, despite being fairly small, she managed to shoot 4 shots with a shotgun onto her body. And the autopsy report, yes, it's possible, but it looks very, very suspicious. If you know the McPherson case, it is not above Scientology to tamper with autopsy reports. With McPherson, it was declared that she died of negligence, but then, magic, autopsy report changes to, oh no, she died by accident. This has been done before. Scientology is capable of tampering with sensitive records, and of course, the police could be bribed. Very, very suspicious. But what is Miscavige's self-interest, and how did he do it? And this is where Render, but to be fair, it's really a Rathbun issue, but Render is in the background.
That person was known as Special Project L, and his name was Mark Marty Rathbun, but everyone called him Marty. Now, you guys know all about Marty. That's a separate video for a separate time. But you're also going to see why, let's just say that David might have a lot of blackmail material over him. When things got real bad and real ugly with our legal and intelligence endeavors, Special Project L wouldn't get involved. Marty was the interface with our hired guns like ex-police officers, ex-agents of various agencies, and such. Now you guys are getting an idea of how they actually work and how perhaps they could change autopsy reports like in Lisa McPherson, etc.
So essentially, Jesse, who knew Miscavige, this is Miscavige's friend and auditor, so he knew him at a very intimate level. But as Jesse says, the guard was changing. There was the Guardian's office, which became OSA, and as he says, the new generation was way more vicious, way more hardcore. So this Project L to handle Flo went from him to Marty Rathbun. Apparently, Marty Rathbun was tasked to solve this issue with Flo. Again, Jesse does not charge murder, but you can read between the lines that when he got news that it was a suicide, he was shocked, as was Shelley. He went to David, and he's like, she effing deserved it. And he's like, huh? So, what's interesting here is this does tie to Confident Chris, because Jesse is saying it explicitly. Rathbun established relationships with, quote, ex police, and they worked with current police forces in Los Angeles and elsewhere. So he is showing, no, they hired and worked with ex cop, ex FBI, ex CIA agents, and they had contacts with people who were currently cops, FBI officers, and CIA agents. So some pretty crazy stuff, but he's showing it. So does that mean in its current formation, OSA does or is using, quote, police and the CIA Well, we want to be careful, don't want to drift into total conspiracy land. However, it is pretty shocking that Aaron, as well as the bigger channels, and even the smaller channels, barely mention Flo. Though this case is explosive. If this is true, that Miscavige used, well, ex FBI, ex CIA, and ex police, and even current people to kill her and then cover it up. That is massive. That is massive. And I do not put it past Rathbun to do that. And surely Rinder would have some knowledge of. Very, very shocking. I will do more on this. Unfortunately, Doug was one of the very few people to probe this issue, but it definitely needs more investigating, and we will return to it.